90% of my clients would love the option of having dark chocolate as part of their eating plan for increasing energy. Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above. Hi, everybody, and welcome to your second 50. If you are joining me on this episode, then you are on episode 4 of my series. The topic is what can you ingest on a daily basis in a natural form from food that can help you to have higher energy. My name is Judy Terrell, and I am a health coach, nationally certified. I am a nutrition coach. I am a personal trainer. I'm a psychotherapist with a master's degree in counseling psychology. I'm a certified yoga instructor. I'm an 11-time Ironman triathlete and Ironman University certified coach. I have amassed a lot of credentials over my 60 years on the planet, continuing to amass more as I continue to age. And the reason why I have is so that I can bring a expanding level of information and knowledge to my clients, because I've been working individually with people for 42 years in the fitness and wellness industry and health industry. And now I have a platform and I'm doing series of video information that's out for public consumption, because I want to help a population of men and women both in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and older to make their second 50 years on the planet even better than their first. And so thank you for joining me. I'm glad you found me, because now I want to use video to go outside my reach of people who can come to see me because they don't live in my area of the world. And that is that you're joining me now in episode number 4 on a series that's specifically addressing what can you add as a regular intake to your daily consumption that can help you to have optimal energy as you are aging. All right. And as I said in my last episode, I'm going to say it again now. I have a big pet peeve. I can't stand when I watch podcasts and charts and information that's put out that says these top 10 foods are going to give you the best energy, or these are the top 5 foods for battling XYZ disease, or these are the top foods that everybody should eat. Because I have had clients come and they'll be like, well, I read this article and they said, that broccoli is the best thing to eat. And so now they're eating tons of broccoli, but now their broccoli is now getting in the way of them eating some other things. And no one food is going to create the optimal balance in this amazing vehicle that we live in that is complex and has balance between the balance of sodium and potassium and, a range of blood pressure that needs to be maintained, and a temperature range and circadian rhythms and, the ratio of LDLs to HDLs. Like, there isn't one thing that if you're focusing in on just one aspect or one system, then it's not going to get you probably what you're looking for, because it's a comprehensive vehicle. And so with that in mind, I'm going to educate you and present to you for your, knowledge that you can then digest and decide what to do with, not just a food or 6 top foods, because this is a 6-part series that is going to be, help you to have energy. But I'm going to tell you about a system in your body and what we tend to be off balance in, and then what you can do to bring back up to balance something that's the deficit side of that equation, and then notice an increase in optimization and energy because you're rebalancing like a system or systems of your body. All right. So that's kind of the quick summary as to my approach on this, video series, but all the things that I put out for optimizing 50 plus for men and women. All right. So now we're on episode number 4, and the element that I'm going to highlight that I'm telling you that if we can get a good balance of in your body is most likely going to result in higher energy. And the element, and then I'm going to tell you what the element is. I'm going to tell you how it works. And then I'm going to tell you foods that are high in it from their natural source, because I am not advocating supplements. They're consolidated. They're out of their original package. They were never meant to be taken in at one time at such a high level. They can throw off other things, even though they might be good. In general, they're not the right balance or the right administration in a supplement form. I'd rather focus in on how do you get it in from a natural state, and then you're on your own to decide what you want to do about supplements. Okay. Talk to your doctors, talk to your pharmacists. What other medications are you on? You don't have to worry about that as much if you're getting what I'm talking about from a natural source. All right. So now the element that I'm saying that most of my people I work with that are over 50, 60 and 70 and 80 now, I'm working with a lot more 80s and hopefully even older as we continue to progress in the world and in life. But the element that I'm talking about in episode number 4 here is nitric oxide. All right. Nitric oxide is made in our bodies from nitrates. And, that should ring some bells for some of you who tries to stay abreast of like the literature on what's good for you in food. And because nitrates are something that are added to processed foods and are consolidated in certain foods when we cook them certain ways, and they are not supposedly good for our body. But that is correct. But there's a whole family of nitrates and how your body utilizes them. And so nitrates in your body, certain types that you can get from natural sources of food, are converted by our bodies into nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is been found to help to dilate blood vessels, all right, and arteries. And so what that means is that if you can dilate naturally arteries, there's more room for flow, and then oxygenated and nutrition laden and red blood cell high blood can then have less resistance and a better access into your cells where energy consumption is, that's where the furnaces, the mitochondria for burning and then creating energy, releasing energy, I should say, happens. So by dilating our circulatory system, and that's what nitric oxide helps to do, it can increase energy in a system that might not have been getting as good of a blood flow into the cells. All right. So different types of nitrates, some of them are bad, some of them are good, and nitrates themselves get turned into nitric oxide that dilate blood vessels and arteries, bloods, the circulatory system. And then that enhances oxygen and nutrition into the working cells, where energy is then released, and therefore foods high in nitric oxide can help with energy. I am so excited to announce your second 50.life. I have been working in the fitness industry with individuals, both men and women, over 50 years old for 42 years and really specialized in the last 10 on over 50. I'm over 50 myself by a long shot. And I've helped literally thousands of men and women both to lose the extra body fat that they gain in the second half of their life, to feel better in their own bodies energetically. I have helped people to reverse and eliminate health problems, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, symptoms of menopause, to name just a few. On this platform, you will have access to an entire body of resources, exercise videos, mini courses, eating plans that are specially designed for over 50 men and women because there's special needs for our demographic. And in addition to the virtual resources that you'll have access to if you join at any time that you'd like, you also have access to me for one-on-one coaching through a group coach call every month. So you can bring your specifics and we can address those as you're also getting information that is specific to the over 50 population. 50s, 60s, 70s, and now 80s is the demographic that I'm working with. So it's your second 50.life, YOURSECOND 50.life. Go check it out. It might be the single best thing that you've looked at like in your second 50s. Okay, I have found that when I can take layperson's terminology and kind of convert the science mumbo jumbo and all the studies that if you went on PubMed and tried to read, your head explodes, my head explodes. But I try to put it in a way that then we can understand because I have I have absolutely witnessed and noticed when I'm working one-on-one with clients that when I can explain something in a way that the person understands, now their motivation to be adherent to what I'm suggesting is much higher. And then when they try it and they do it more successfully, and then they actually get the results I'm after. And in this case, in this episode, in this series, it's higher energy. All right. So I hope you understand the element I'm talking about. It's not a food per se, but certain foods are higher in what we're looking for, the nitric oxide or the nitrate that's going to get converted into nitric oxide. And then we're going to try and get that from foods that are naturally high in that, not supplements. All right. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. What are foods that are actually, high in the nitric oxide or high in something that helps our body to take the nitrates and convert it into nitric oxide. All right. So right now, unless you're living under a rock, you probably have heard about the first one I'm going to talk about, and that is beets. All right. Beets, purple beets out of the ground, a root vegetable. They are high in nitrates that our body then turns into nitric oxide that then can enhance energy. All right. Why? Because of the blood flow and everything I just explained. So beets in their natural form, they're so good for so many reasons. They're high in anthocyanins, which is an antioxidant, high in phytonutrients, which all plants are. So for a variety of reasons, eating beets is really good for you. But from an energy point of view, it's the nitric oxide that the beets have the nitrates that get converted into nitric oxide that then enhances our circulatory system, which then enhances our energy. And I will tell you that right now in the athletic world, beets supplements and nitric oxide is being used a lot for performance enhancement because that helps with an energy conduction for the reasons I just described. But those of us who are not necessarily competing in athletic events or want to be an Olympian and the next Michael Phelps or whatever, those of us who are past our prime and that's not on the table for us anymore, we can still benefit from having better energy from eating beets. All right. So beets is the first one high in the nitrates that can convert, the good ones that can convert it into nitric oxide. All right. Second one, this is not a surprise to everybody. Leafy greens, they're good for so many things. Phytonutrients again, but they're high in nitrate and in specifically spinach, kale, and arugula. So mix those in with other greens, wilt them down, have a beans and greens meal, throw in some shrimp, a variety. I'm not dictating what you should or shouldn't eat in other food categories. I'm just telling you a couple ideas for how you can bring these leafy greens that are higher in the nitrate that gets converted into nitric oxide. So beets, leafy greens, citric fruits. So, grapefruit, oranges, limes, lemons. These are high in vitamin C, and vitamin C helps to convert nitrates into nitric oxide and therefore production of nitric oxide in our bodies. So beets, high in the nitrates, leafy greens, high in the nitrates that then convert into nitric oxide in our bodies, citric fruits, high in vitamin C that helps to convert the nitric oxide into our bodies to produce nitric oxide. Here's a couple that you might be surprised at. Dark chocolate. There's a win. I don't have one client that would probably, I'm sure I don't want to speak in generalities. 90% of my clients would love the option of having dark chocolate as part of their eating plan for increasing energy. Dark chocolate is rich in flavonoids, and flavonoids help to convert nitrates into nitric oxide in our body. So, 80% or more dark chocolate. And again, I'm not telling you to have this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like just because some is good doesn't mean more is better necessarily, or that you should swim in it. But adding some dark chocolate to your daily intake, along with adding some beets and then adding some spinach and arugula. And now by the end of the day, you're getting a nice source, from a variety of sources. And then, enhancing your, vascularization and energy through your body. And then the final one I'm going to tell you, and this is going to be very surprising because it's a controversial food source, but meat, seafood, and poultry are high in CoQ10 and CoQ10 helps to lower blood pressure and increase nitric oxide production. So again, like if you are somebody who does include animal products in your eating, then know that if you're keeping like, 1 or 2 meals a day, having a protein source from these animals is helping you to get more CoQ10, which can help with nitric oxide, which can help with blood flow through your body and energy. So I'm not saying you have to eat any of these foods. I'm not saying you have to eat just one of them. I'm not saying you have to eat all of them. I'm just presenting to you foods that we typically eat that are part of the evolution of the human being. We've been eating them for millenniums in the state that they are in naturally. I'm not talking about supplements. These are ones that are high, that help our body to produce high nitric oxide, which helps, with energy. So this is episode number 4 out of a series of 6. I hope that you learned something that you didn't know before, maybe got clarity of something that you'd heard before, but you didn't quite understand. If you did, go back and watch the other 3 episodes in this series. There's 2 more yet to come. And again, if you're finding value in this series, then this is series number 12. Go and find my other 11 on YouTube or a variety of sources. You can also access them on my platform, which is called yoursecond50.life. It's a subscription. I said something about it in the middle of this podcast. You're going to get in the end outtakes here, a little more information on how to access it. But again, I'm trying to put out information within my realm of expertise and in my observation in my work with clients for 42 years that I've gotten positive results in my demographic, 50 plus now, men and women, both. And so that's what I'm relaying. That's the information I'm relaying because I want you to get the help that you can have to have the most optimal life for the second 50 years on the planet. That's my goal. I hope it's your goal. I'm sure it is if you're watching this podcast. So check out episode number 5, and I hope to see you soon. And in the meantime, be well, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to more of my resources, then you can reach me at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can go to my new platform at yoursecond50.life. That is yoursecond50.life, or at my website www.judyterrell.com.